What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Lockdown 23 and 1. Today, we're going to be jumping into a Florida courtroom to witness a man beg the judge for a death sentence. He said he ain't got time to sit on death row for 10 or 15 years. He wants to move on to the next life. Steve Lorenzo pled guilty in December for the 2003 murders of Jason Galehouse and Michael Wackholz. And the best way for me to describe what these individuals were doing, have you ever seen the movie Pulp Fiction? Where Bruce Willis and what's the other actor's name? Vin Rames? Anyways, they get to fighting and they happen to fall into this pawn shop or some kind of store. But the guys that work in these stores happen to be predators. And they kidnap Bruce Willis and Vin Rames. They tie him up and they try to do some filthy stuff to him before Bruce Willis breaks out with the samurai sword. And I'm not going to spoil the rest of it. If you ain't seen it, go check it out. But that's pretty much what these guys were doing. One of their victims escaped and testified in the courtroom. I'm going to leave a story pinned in the comment section for you to read and really dive into, but it can get pretty graphic. Anyways, let's get into the sentencing. If you enjoyed this type of content, you already know what to do. Hit that like, subscribe, notification bell before you leave, and check out the playlist with many more videos for you to start watching today.
Well, let me address Mr. Lorenzo first. Mr. Lorenzo, you've represented yourself pro se in these proceedings throughout, and we've had several discussions. The rules require that at every important stage of the proceedings that I reoffer you counsel. You are to be sentenced this morning. I believe that that is a very important part of your proceedings, so I am going to offer you, as you know, you have standby counsel, Mr. Brian Gonzalez, an excellent attorney, and he is sitting right next to you. Would you like for me to appoint Mr. Gonzalez to represent you today before I announce the sentence in your case?
Excuse me, no, I'm fine, thank you.
All right. All right.
Just in case you might have never been in a courtroom and might be a little lost, the judge is just checking his ends, okay, because he's obviously been representing himself throughout the whole trial. And of course, to avoid some kind of mistrial or something like that, the judge is going to ask one more time before sentencing if he wants an attorney or not. And he chose not.
Representing yourself pro se, ready to proceed this morning.
Yes, most definitely am.
Is the state ready to proceed?
That's right.
All right. I heard that there was this.
There goes the Raptors. AC1 flew, not whatever. Shaking the leaves on my plants.
All right. I heard that there was this. Does anybody need to be heard? This is the sentencing.
Yes, sir. It is my understanding that there are some friends of Mr. Galehouse who would like to speak this morning. So I let Your Honor's clerk know that they do wish to speak.
All right. Well, I don't want to deny anybody the right. So who exactly is it? Is there a representative or? So nobody wants to speak?
Change of plans. Yes, sir.
That's not a problem. That's not a problem. We're flexible. All right, then.
Wow, so I guess they had a little bit of a change of heart. You know, usually before sentencing, the victims or family members of the victims can come up and take the stand and speak on why the guy deserves a max penalty. But maybe they know that the guy's going to be asking for the death penalty, and there's really no need to get up there and try to push it.
It appears that everybody is ready to proceed to sentencing. Oh, Mr. Lorenzo, yes, you're raising your hand.
Do I get to say something before sentencing?
I will allow you the opportunity, yes, sir.
Okay, very good. I'd like to take me about 5 or 7 minutes of your time if you don't
Well,
mind.
I will ask that you try to summarize it as quickly as possible.
Okay. First off, I'd like to thank Mr. Gonzalez, Mr. Sonardi, and everybody else that was part of the defense team. They were absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible. And I want to thank them from the bottom of my heart. Thank you. Can I address the state attorneys?
You may.
Yes. I'd like to let you guys know that I have no animosity against you. You did your job, and you did a very good job of prosecuting this case. So I want to thank you for that because I appreciate your fairness to me, and that's what I appreciate. In this lifetime, I'm the bad guy, you're the good guy. Maybe the next lifetime the role will be reversed, who knows. But I want to let you know that I wish you all well. Okay. And to the judge, I want to thank you because you have had incredible tolerance and patience and fairness to me while I stumbled my way through this whole process. And I want to appreciate that. I want you to know that, and I want that on the record for the Florida Supreme Court. So I'd like
You
that
got it, buddy.
to do that. I'm seeking the death penalty. It's in my best interest, basically, because it's a comfort. I'll be living a lot more comfortable than I would in the federal system, living on death row, believe it or not. And of course, that may sound selfish, but I've lived in a private cell for the last 5 years, and I'm going to have a private cell on death row. At my age, I want to be comfortable. I want my privacy. That's what I want. So that's what I'm doing. It may sound selfish, but that's the way it is. You live for today. You don't live for the past. You live for today.
A lot of people might be wondering, why would this guy ever ask for the death penalty? You got to keep in mind, he's got some of probably the worst charges you could possibly have in prison. If he were to end up going to the feds, like he said, man, they check paperwork all the time. They'll probably already know who this guy is before he walked in there. So he's like, man, my chances are probably better off on death row for the next 15, 20 years, hoping that they get rid of it. And I remember I just did a state the other day where the death row got abolished, and guess what? Those guys with the death date had a brand new lease on life. So he's probably weighed out his options, or he could be playing, the reverse psychology game. Ask for the death penalty. That's what I want. The judge don't want to give him what he wants, so he's going to give him life.
So I'm asking you to give me the death sentence because that'll be more comfortable for me to live out my lifetime. I know I can be on death row for about 10 to 15 years, which I think is crazy. But as far as I see it, it's just euthanasia. I already have a death sentence. Everybody in this room has a death sentence. So as far as I'm concerned, you're just offering me a euthanasia that I'm looking to do willingly. That's all it really comes down to. And so I'm asking you to do that. So, and I'm going to try to speed up this process so I don't have to wait 15 years because I got better things to do in my time. The sooner that I get euthanized, as far as I'm concerned, the faster I can get, the sooner I can get, fetch myself a new body and come back again, a fresh body. That's how I look at it, because that's how it is. That's how it's spiritual work. We're eternal beings. So the way I look at it is the sooner I euthanize, the sooner I can come back. I've got better things to do with my time than to hang out and spend the next 15, 20 years on death row or in any prison system. So that's what I'm asking for. It's selfish, but that's what I want.
But he's right. Everybody does have a death date. And I can only imagine when you are on that date, you can only hope for the next life. That's all you got left to hope for. This life is done and over with. Time to start anew. Or, there could just be heaven and hell. What if that's actually real to the people out there that don't believe in it? Imagine waking up in a sulfur, stank, smelling fire freaking pit. I've read a lot of life after death experiences, and that was one of the main ones. People went to hell. They smelled this awful sulfur smell.
So that's all I really have to say.
All right.
Thank you.
Well, thank you. And I don't know if what you say is perhaps some form of reverse psychology, or do I care? I will not consider what you want in issuing my sentence.
I know that.
All right. So I am then ready to proceed. Did you have anything else that you want to say?
No, I'm pretty good. I'm looking forward to getting this over with. It's been 5 long years.
All right.
Forward to the
Does
death
the state,
sentence, Your
based on
Honor.
the fact that the defendant made a statement, have anything to say before I announce the sentence in this case?
No, sir, we do not. Thank you.
All right. We recently had a penalty phase bench trial in which many witnesses testified. On February 7th, 2 very strong young ladies testified. Miss Ruth Wachholz, the mother of Michael Wachholz, and Miss Pam Williams, the mother of Jason Galehouse. They are observing the proceedings today. The thing that was consistent in their testimony was that they have been waiting 20 years for justice. Today, that long wait ends. In the words of Miss Pam Williams, from one Italian to another, ti condanno a morte. That translates to, I sentence you, Mr. Lorenzo, to death. That is the punishment that you deserve
Thank you.
for these horrific crimes. My reasoning is explained in a 40-page order that I have prepared and signed and am filing contemporaneous with this sentence. Will be handed out to the defense and the state now.
40-page, Your Honor.
You were
You
previously
outdid yourself.
adjudicated. You shall be transferred to the Department of Corrections to await your execution. You have 30 days to appeal this sentence. Mr. Gonzalez, I ask that you file a notice of appeal before you file a motion to withdraw as standby counsel.
Judge, I will inform the court that Mr. Lorenzo has already prepared a notice of appeal, and I intend on filing it when we leave the courtroom.
I appreciate that.
Yes, very good.
Excellent. Thank you all.
He was trying some reverse psychology stuff, man. The guy gave him death penalty what he asked for, so why is he appealing it? This guy's sick-minded, man. These are the type of guys you gotta watch out for in prison, man. You wouldn't think anything of them. They kind of talk normal, polite, and kind, and then they'll turn into a freaking maniac. Skin you alive in the cell. Take the cheeks and you'll be meeting your maker. But before we wrap this up, let's go ahead and just jump right into a quick courtroom analysis. First and foremost, we have to acknowledge the brand new Elon Musk snap-tight Tesla Hot Wheels. I drive a Dodge Charger though, Your Honor, no disrespect. And would you look at that, underneath you got Lebanon birch and recycled Roman centurion marble. The desks and trim of this courtroom was hand-whittled from the California redwoods. They do it in a way to where the bark can grow back. Amazing, I know. They've got the remarkable bison bottom chairs. You can get those at your Home Depot. It comes in various colors.
Thank you, Your Honor. I
And
appreciate it.
Mr. Lorenzo, may God have mercy on your soul.
My soul is fine. Thank you, sir.
But that's a wrap, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully you enjoyed today's courtroom sentencing. Stay tuned. As always, I got plenty more content coming y'all's way. In the meantime, I salute to every last one who's been supporting me since the beginning, and everybody who's just now joining the lockdown compound. Y'all be easy, be safe, and stay free.